The crisp autumn wind howled through the bare branches of the towering oaks, casting eerie shadows across the dilapidated facade of the Blackwood Mansion. Alex shivered, not from the chill in the air, but from the overwhelming sense of dread that had settled in the pit of his stomach. "I can't believe we're actually going through with this," he muttered, his gaze fixed on the crumbling estate that loomed before them. Chloe, his girlfriend, gave his hand a gentle squeeze. "Come on, Alex, it'll be fun. Aren't you even the least bit curious about what might be waiting for us inside?" Alex sighed, knowing he was outnumbered. Liam, the ever-enthusiastic jock of their group, was already bounding up the overgrown path towards the mansion's grand entrance, Emma trailing closely behind him, her doe-like eyes filled with a mixture of fear and intrigue. "Fun? Chloe, this place has been abandoned for decades. There's a reason it has a reputation for being haunted," Alex argued, reluctantly following the others. "Exactly," Liam called out, his voice echoing through the eerie silence. "Haunted means it's going to be an adventure. Think of the stories we'll have to tell once we're done." Emma paused, her brow furrowed in concern. "I don't know, Liam. There's something off about this place. I can feel it." Liam scoffed, already reaching for the heavy oak door. "You're just being superstitious, Emma. Now let's go see what secrets this old mansion has been hiding." As the door creaked open, a chill ran down Alex's spine. He knew he should have put his foot down and insisted they turn back, but the curious part of him couldn't resist the pull of the unknown. With a resigned sigh, he followed his friends into the dark, foreboding interior of the Blackwood Mansion. The entryway was shrouded in shadows, the air thick with the scent of decay and dust. Broken chandeliers hung precariously from the high ceilings, their crystals twinkling like the eerie eyes of unseen specters. Faded portraits, their subjects' gazes seemingly following the group, lined the walls, adding to the unsettling atmosphere. "Wow, this place is even creepier than I imagined," Chloe whispered, her grip tightening on Alex's hand. Liam, ever the thrill-seeker, grinned. "This is going to be awesome. Come on, let's see what else we can find." As the group ventured deeper into the mansion, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end, and he found himself glancing over his shoulder, half expecting to see a ghostly figure lurking in the shadows. Emma, ever the intuitive one, paused, her eyes narrowing as she scanned the room. "Guys, I really think we should get out of here. There's something wrong about this place." Liam rolled his eyes. "Oh, come on, Emma. Don't be such a..." A sudden, bone-chilling wail echoed through the halls, causing the group to freeze in their tracks. Chloe let out a startled gasp, clinging to Alex's arm. "What the hell was that?" Liam whispered, his bravado momentarily shaken. Alex swallowed hard, his mouth suddenly dry. "I think we should leave, now." But before they could make a move, a loud crack reverberated through the room, and the heavy oak door they had entered through slammed shut, seemingly of its own accord. Liam rushed to the door, tugging at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. "What the fuck? It's locked!" he cried, panic seeping into his voice. Emma shook her head, her eyes wide with terror. "I told you something was wrong. We shouldn't have come here." Chloe's breaths came in short, rapid bursts, her fingers digging into Alex's arm. "Alex, I want to go home. Please, let's just get out of here." Alex's mind raced, scrambling for a solution, but the reality of their situation was slowly dawning on him. They were trapped, alone, in a house with a reputation for being haunted. And if the ominous wail and the slamming door were any indication, they were not alone. Okay, let's all just stay calm," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "There has to be another way out of here. We just need to..." Another gut-wrenching cry echoed through the mansion, closer this time, and the group instinctively huddled together, their hearts pounding in their chests. "I don't think we're alone," Emma whispered, her voice trembling. The temperature in the room seemed to drop, and a thick, oppressive silence settled over them, broken only by the sound of their ragged breathing. Alex felt a chill crawl up his spine, and he knew, deep down, that they had made a terrible mistake in coming here. As the group stood, frozen in fear, the lights flickered and dimmed, casting ominous shadows that danced across the walls. The air grew heavy and charged, and Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, observed by something ancient and malevolent. "We need to find a way out of here, now," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know what's happening, but I don't want to stick around to find out." The others nodded in silent agreement, their expressions etched with terror. Clutching one another, they began to cautiously make their way through the mansion, their senses on high alert, their every footstep echoing with a sense of foreboding. As they navigated the labyrinth of hallways and crumbling rooms, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being followed, that the very walls of the Blackwood Mansion were closing in around them. And with each passing moment, the dread in the pit of his stomach grew, a sinking realization that they had unleashed something far more sinister than they could ever have imagined. The air in the mansion's library had grown thick and oppressive, the shadows seeming to close in around them. Alex could feel the tension radiating from his friends as they gathered around the ancient, dust-covered Ouija board, their faces etched with a mix of curiosity and trepidation. Chloe's grip on his hand tightened, and he could see the unease in her eyes. "Are you sure about this, Alex? I mean, this place already gives me the creeps. Do we really need to be messing around with a Ouija board?" Alex sighed, his own apprehension bubbling to the surface. "Honestly, no, I'm not sure about this at all. But you know, Liam, he's not going to let this go until we at least try." He glanced over at their thrill-seeking friend, who was already positioning his fingers on the planchette, a mischievous grin plastered across his face. "Come on, you guys," Liam urged, his voice brimming with excitement. "Live a little. This is our chance to, talk to the other side or whatever. Aren't you even a little bit curious?" Emma, ever the voice of reason, shook her head, her brow furrowed in concern. "I really don't think this is a good idea, Liam. There's something off about this place. I can feel it, like a dark presence just waiting to—" "Oh, come on, Emma," Liam interrupted, rolling his eyes. "You're always such a buzzkill. Where's your sense of adventure?" Alex could see the frustration building in Emma's expression, her typically warm and gentle features hardening with determination. "Liam, I'm telling you, we need to get out of here. There's something wrong about this mansion, and I don't want to find out what it is the hard way." Sensing the growing tension, Chloe tried to interject, her voice calm and soothing. "Hey guys, let's not fight, okay? Maybe we could just take a quick look around the library first, see if we can find anything interesting, and then decide if we want to try the Ouija board." Alex nodded gratefully, grateful for Chloe's diplomatic approach. "That sounds like a good idea. The sooner we get this over with, the sooner we can get out of here." Liam huffed, but reluctantly agreed, his fingers reluctantly leaving the planchette. Fine. But I still think we should at least try the Ouija board. This place is begging to be explored." As the group began to cautiously examine the library, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The shadows seemed to shift and dance, and the air grew colder with each passing moment. He glanced over at Emma, who had moved to the far corner of the room, her expression tense and focused. "Emma," he called out, his voice barely above a whisper. "What is it?" Emma didn't respond at first, her gaze fixed on the shadows as if she were trying to see something that wasn't there. Finally, she turned to face the group, her eyes wide with alarm. I think we should leave now." Before Alex could ask what was wrong, a loud bang echoed through the library, causing them all to jump. Chloe let out a startled gasp, and Liam whirled around, his bravado momentarily shaken. "What the hell was that?" he demanded, his voice trembling. Alex's heart pounded in his chest as he scanned the room, searching for the source of the sound. The air seemed to crackle with tension, and the shadows seemed to grow darker, more ominous. "I don't know," Alex admitted, his own fear creeping into his voice, "but I think we should—" Another loud bang, this time followed by the sound of shattering glass, caused them all to jump. Chloe let out a terrified cry, and Liam instinctively moved to shield her. "Okay, that's it," Alex said, his voice firm. "We're getting out of here, now." But as they rushed towards the door, a sudden gust of wind whipped through the room, slamming the heavy oak door shut with a resounding thud. Liam grabbed the handle, his knuckles turning white, but the door refused to budge. No, Liam cried, his voice laced with panic. "It's locked, we're trapped." Emma shook her head, her expression grim. I told you we shouldn't have come here. There's something wrong with this place, something evil." Chloe's fingers dug into Alex's arm, her nails biting into his skin. "Alex, I want to go home, please. Let's just get out of here." Alex's mind raced, desperately searching for a solution, but the reality of their situation was slowly dawning on him. They were trapped, alone, in a house with a reputation for being haunted, and if the ominous noises and the slamming door were any indication, they were not alone. Okay, let's all just stay calm, he said, his voice trembling despite his best efforts. There has to be another way out of here. We just need to... A sudden gut-wrenching wail echoed through the mansion, causing them all to freeze in terror. The temperature in the room seemed to plummet, and a thick, oppressive silence settled over them, broken only by the sound of their ragged breathing. Alex felt a chill crawl up his spine, and he couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, observed by something ancient and malevolent. The air grew heavy and charged, and the shadows seemed to shift and dance, as if taunting them. "We need to find a way out of here. Now," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "I don't know what's happening, but I don't want to stick around to find out." The others nodded in silent agreement, their expressions etched with pure terror. Clutching one another, they began to cautiously make their way through the library, their senses on high alert, every footstep echoing with a sense of foreboding. As they navigated the labyrinth of bookshelves and crumbling furniture, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being followed, that the very walls of the Blackwood Mansion were closing in around them. And with each passing moment, the dread in the pit of his stomach grew, a sinking realization that they had unleashed something far more sinister than they could ever have imagined. The group pressed on, their footsteps muffled by the thick carpet, their eyes darting from one shadowy corner to the next, searching for any sign of escape. But the mansion seemed to stretch on endlessly, its corridors twisting and turning, as if purposefully leading them deeper into its clutches. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the halls, followed by the sound of shattering glass. Chloe let out a terrified scream, and Liam instinctively pulled her closer, his expression a mix of fear and determination. "We need to find a way out of here now," Alex whispered urgently, his heart pounding in his chest. "I don't care what we have to do, but we can't stay here any longer." The others nodded in agreement, their faces pale and drawn. As they hurried through the mansion, the air seemed to grow heavier, the shadows more oppressive, and the sense of being watched more intense with every step. It was as if the very essence of the Blackwood Mansion was conspiring against them, determined to keep them trapped within its crumbling walls. And with the haunting wails and the ominous crashing sounds echoing through the halls, Alex couldn't help but wonder what dark, malevolent force they had unleashed by daring to enter this cursed place. The shadows seemed to pulse and writhe, as if alive with a sinister energy. Alex felt a chill run down his spine as he led the group through the labyrinthine corridors of the Blackwood Mansion, their footsteps echoing in the oppressive silence. Every few moments a sudden crash or unearthly wail would shatter the stillness, causing them all to flinch and quicken their pace. Chloe's grip on his hand was almost painfully tight, her knuckles white with fear, while Liam's bravado had given way to a palpable sense of dread. Only Emma seemed to maintain a semblance of calm, her eyes narrowed in concentration as she scanned their surroundings, her intuition guiding their frantic escape. "This way," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I think I see a staircase up ahead." Alex nodded, grateful for Emma's keen senses, and the group hurried forward, their hearts pounding in their chests. As they rounded the corner, a set of worn wooden stairs came into view, leading up to the mansion's second floor. "Okay, let's go," Alex said, taking the first step. "Maybe we can find another way out from up there." But just as they began to ascend, a sudden bang echoed through the hall, causing them all to freeze in their tracks. Chloe let out a muffled whimper, and Liam instinctively stepped in front of her, his fists clenched. "What the hell was that?" he whispered, his voice trembling. Alex swallowed hard, his mouth suddenly dry. "I don't know, but I don't think we want to find out." They stood there, frozen in place, listening intently for any other sounds that might betray the presence of the unseen intruder. The air seemed to grow thicker, the shadows more oppressive, and Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, observed by some malevolent force that had awakened within the mansion's walls. After what felt like an eternity, Emma spoke up, her voice barely above a whisper. "We need to keep moving. Whatever's in here with us, it's not going to wait for us to find a way out." Alex nodded, his grip tightening on Chloe's hand. "You're right, let's go." They continued their ascent, each step creaking ominously beneath their feet. The staircase seemed to stretch on endlessly, the shadows casting distorted shapes that danced across the walls, taunting them. As they reached the second-floor landing, Alex's gaze was immediately drawn to a large, ornate mirror that hung on the wall, its surface clouded and distorted. He paused, unable to shake the feeling that there was something off about it, something deeply unsettling. "Guys, I think we should—" Before he could finish his sentence, the mirror suddenly cracked, the sound echoing through the hallway like the snap of a whip. Chloe let out a startled yelp, and the group instinctively recoiled, their eyes darting around the dimly lit space. "What the fuck was that?" Liam demanded, his voice laced with both fear and frustration. Emma shook her head, her expression grim. "I told you there's something wrong with this place. We need to get out of here, now." Alex's heart was pounding in his chest as he ushered the group forward, his mind racing to find a way out of this nightmare. The mansion seemed to shift and contort around them, the shadows growing deeper, the air colder and more oppressive with every step. Suddenly, a loud thud reverberated through the hallway, causing them all to freeze in their tracks. Chloe let out a terrified gasp, and Liam stepped in front of her, his fists raised in a futile attempt to protect her. "Who's there?" he yelled, his voice cracking with fear. "Show yourself." Silence. The oppressive stillness seemed to weigh on them like a physical force, pressing down on their chests, making it hard to breathe. And then, a soft, eerie whisper, floating through the air like a ghostly caress. "You shouldn't have come here." Chloe let out a whimper, and Alex felt his blood run cold. Emma's eyes widened and she backed away, her face pale. "We need to get out of here, now," she whispered, her voice trembling. But even as they turned to flee, the hallway seemed to shift, the doors they had just passed through vanishing into the shadows, leaving them trapped and disoriented. "No, no, no," Liam cried, his fists slamming against the solid wall that had once been an exit. "We're trapped." Alex's mind raced, desperate for a solution, but the realization that they were completely at the mercy of the unseen force within the mansion was slowly sinking in. Chloe was shaking, tears streaming down her face, and even Liam's bravado had been reduced to raw, primal fear. "What do we do?" Chloe whispered, her voice barely audible. Alex swallowed hard, trying to keep his own terror at bay. I don't know, but we can't just stand here. We have to keep moving. Try to find another way out." The group reluctantly resumed their trek, their footsteps hesitant and unsteady. The shadows seemed to press in on them from all sides, and the air grew colder with each passing moment. Alex could feel the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end, and he couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, followed. Suddenly, a bone-chilling scream echoed through the mansion, causing them all to jump and whirl around, their hearts pounding in their chests. "Emma!" Chloe cried, her voice laced with panic. They spun around, desperately searching for their friend, but she had vanished, swallowed by the oppressive darkness. "Emma?" Liam called out, his voice trembling. "Emma, where are you?" No response, only the eerie silence that seemed to press in on them, taunting them with their helplessness. "We have to find her," Alex said, his voice firm despite the fear that gripped him. "We can't just leave her here." Chloe nodded, her eyes filled with tears. "But how? We don't even know where she went or what happened to her." Liam's expression hardened, his fists clenched at his sides. "We have to try. We can't just abandon her to whatever thing is in here with us." Alex took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. "Okay, then let's go. Stick close and keep your eyes peeled. We can't afford to lose anyone else." The two remaining friends moved forward, their steps cautious and wary, their senses on high alert. The mansion seemed to loom around them, its shadows shifting and twisting, as if daring them to venture deeper into its treacherous depths. But Alex knew they had no choice. They had to find Emma, to make sure she was safe. And in doing so, they might just uncover the truth behind the Blackwood Mansion's dark secrets, and the malevolent force that had awakened within its walls. As they pressed on, the air grew thick with tension, the shadows growing ever more oppressive. The very walls seemed to close in around them, and Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being hunted, the prey in a deadly game of cat and mouse against an unseen, but no less terrifying predator. As Alex and Chloe pushed open a heavy oak door, a gust of fresh air washed over them. They found themselves standing on a forgotten balcony, overlooking the sprawling grounds of the Blackwood Mansion. Below, a narrow path snaked through the overgrown gardens, leading towards the distant tree line. Relief flooded Alex. They had found a way out, but the memory of Emma's scream still echoed in his ears. "We have to find her," Chloe said, her voice trembling but resolute. Alex nodded, his gaze scanning the grounds below. Then a flash of movement caught his eye. A figure, small and huddled, was stumbling along the path. "Emma!" "There!" Chloe cried, pointing. Without hesitation, they raced down the rickety stairs and across the overgrown grounds. As they reached Emma, they found her pale and shaken, but unharmed. Tears streamed down her face as she wrapped her arms around Chloe, clinging to her for dear life. "What happened?" Alex asked, concern etched on his face. Emma shuddered, her voice barely a whisper. I don't know. I was separated from you and then darkness. But then I heard a voice, a woman's voice, guiding me here." A cold shiver ran down Alex's spine. The woman's voice? Was it the same entity that had haunted them, or something else entirely? They left the mansion behind, its secrets still buried within its crumbling walls. The ordeal had left them shaken but also strangely bonded. As they walked away, the rising sun painting the sky in hues of gold and orange, Alex couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope. They had escaped the Blackwood Mansion, and perhaps, just perhaps, they had also managed to lay its restless spirits to rest. However, the book Emma had found clutched in her hand, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and dark incantations, served as a chilling reminder of the nightmarish events they had just experienced. The Blackwood Mansion,